Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. It is a whiskey taste challenge here on the second day of July 2019. Hot summer, a hot summer. But that's the way it is in summer. All right, we have Kentucky Gold from 1992, introduced in 1992 to a bunch of fanfare. Well, actually, not really at all. And I've joked about this. I said, if this is the gold, I'd hate to see the bronze or, the silver or the bronze. There's the barrel with the Kentucky Gold leaking out. Got the red band, the gold. Blended whiskey. Kentucky blended whiskey. Well, you see, that's a law. If it says that on the label, it has to be distilled in Kentucky. Now, if they call it American blended whiskey, it could be anywhere in America. So these rules are very specific. Just blended and bottled by blended and bottled in, left out a preposition. Blended and bottled in Kentucky by Quality Control Distilling Company. It's still kind of dark here. I can't see. Bardstown, Nelson County, Kentucky. Well, that's Heaven Hill, all right? We know that there's the Heaven Hill crest on the back. You see this on all their, at least their inexpensive ones. You see this. You see it on T.W. Samuels and all of that. A distinctive blend. The character and taste a connoisseur desires and expects. Choice blended whiskey. 20% Kentucky straight whiskey. 80% grain neutral spirits, aged 36 months. Does it have to be at least 3 years? No, it doesn't. So they're doing you a favor. Now, they're telling us on the bottle that a connoisseur expects the level of quality here. So think about that for a minute. And to believe it was only $3 for this, I think it was $2.99 or $3.99 for this bottle. Amazing, beautiful plastic bottle. Nothing like the thud of plastic. And then the Challenger from Missouri, across the Mississippi River in Missouri. We head out west, gateway to the west, Missouri. Triple Crown North American blended whiskey. Now, notice here they say North American blended whiskey. Product of the United States of America. It doesn't say Missouri blended whiskey. No. Crafted with exceptional North American grain. Well, that may be true. They're saying they use small grain barley, and it's the most expensive bourbon you can use. And amazingly, it was only $3.99 for this glass bottle. Well, it is glass. Now, this was introduced in 2013. This is a newer brand, 6 years old. Triple Crown Distilling, Weston, Missouri. I say Weston, Missouri. Isn't that the home of McCormick Distilling? Yeah. Alias name, same old story. 80% grain neutral spirit, 20% straight bourbon whiskeys. Doesn't say straight Kentucky whiskey, say bourbon whiskey. But 2 years old, so there's differences. There's differences. Fine, small grain bourbon. All right. I think, and it's got a smooth cap, whereas this one has these, that, I don't know what that's called. The rough finish. What is the name for it? So you can grip it. Okay. I think the Kentucky Gold is going to be noticeable because of its non-gold qualities. In other words, you wonder how could it win a gold medal with the strange melon flavor. It's like, okay, whiskey, all right, it's cheap. I can understand it. I want to drink some whiskey. No big deal. But why should it have a honeydew melon aroma and taste? You know what? My feeling is that it shouldn't. But I've picked that up on these Heaven Hill cheapos. Now you might say, don't say cheapo, say value price. These Heaven Hill value priced items. All right. The border war, Missouri versus Kentucky. And didn't Daniel Boone, who started Kentucky, didn't he go live in Missouri for a while? I believe so. He was like one of the pioneers of Missouri. You say you shouldn't talk about Daniel Boone because that is the old days and it's offensive. Like the shoe company, they were going to make a shoe for the Independence Day celebration July 4th with a Betsy Ross flag. But Colin Kaepernick said he didn't like that. The Betsy Ross American flag was offensive to him. So they canceled the shoe. It's kind of funny to watch a company commit suicide, especially when I don't buy their overpriced stinking shoes. I need to go buy some shoes today, in fact. Now, if they made a red flag with a gold hammer and sickle on it, he would probably approve of that. He would approve of that. He would approve of that. But like Forrest Gump said, communist is as communist does. And so, you know, you might say, stop picking on these communists. Okay, all right, I will. Just just commenting, making general comments. Okay. So Kentucky Gold versus Triple Crown. I think sail on, silver girl. I think that the Triple Crown will win because I think it's a better quality product. But we're about to find out. The appearance won't matter. They're both kind of that lumber. Welcome back. All right. Smells pungent, whiskey-like. Even though they're 80% grain neutral spirits, which is what? Any kind of grain distilled to be clear, odorless, and colorless, essentially. And almost invariably, they're using corn because that's a government subsidized grain. You say government subsidized? Yes. You know what I mean? You ever heard of corporate welfare? Well, welcome to the world of corporate welfare. And ethanol in cars. You say, because of the environment. That's a good way to present it. You see, you always want to frame things correctly. You say, that's why we have these windmills all over Texas, marring the view, making it this incessant hum, ruining Texas because of the environment, when it's really because of politicians being in cahoots with businessmen to use your money to buy useless windmills. Now you say, no, you hate the environment. You want the world to burn, it burns. Nope, wrong. Just don't want you to get ripped off. But you see, the framing effect, when I used to teach psychology, we talked about the framing effect. It's all about how you frame it. And a scam always comes across better when you present it in a ecological way. It's about ecology, not international finance capitalism. This smells like whiskey, and the US government says it has to smell and taste like the characteristics generally associated with whiskey. And it does. Okay. This one is also that way with that little peppery note. I guess they're using rye to make up some of this. It must be true. It must be true. But this one's a little blander, like it's just kind of flat in the nose. Not bad. I didn't say bad. I say flat. This one is a little richer depth. Some dried flowers. Pourquoi the flowers? And those kind of things. Now, if you only smell these, you might think, this is not a bad bourbon. If you only smelt them. But then, of course, people are not buying these bottles to smell them in a Glencairn glass. No, they're buying them to dump in a can of Sprite, swish it around, and drink it before work. Oh, I mean, after work, before work. No one does that. Right? You say you meant to say during. I didn't say during. I said after. I said wire. All right. Let's go with the taste. For good or ill. Maybe $3.99 a bottle. It's probably for ill, but we've got to do it. It's Dawn Buster's Brown. Buster Keaton. Poindexter. All right. Well. It's funny, though. It literally tastes like it's about 80% filler and about 20% bourbon. And I was talking about this last night with John and everything. And I said, we were talking about these flavored beers. I said, you got to break it down into two parts, component parts. I said, there's the top side flavor and the bottom side, the underneath. Like Blue Oyster Cult said, the power underneath despair. So there's the undertaste. And most people only deal with the top side. Well, if you're only dealing on the top side, you'll get the pineapple, the pomegranate, the guava, the coconut, and all the flavors, whatever. Here, you'll get the bourbon, and you say, it's a nice little bourbon whiskey, so it's fine. It's when the underbody comes in, if you ever let that come through, then you start picking up these questionable things. The melon, the filler. And that one you get the filler, but it's not offensive. And that's making me think, almost say Cripple Trown. Hey, Cripple Trown whiskey. All right. Oh. Well, there's a lot of candy corn. There's bourbon. There's sugary sweetness. There's the corn underbody. There is rye spice. So I can rag on these things, rip on these things, go off, ridicule, denigrate them. And I do. And I have a good time with it. Because it's a pecking order. And you say, well, people picked on you, so now you're picking. This is what the world's coming to. That's right. But it's a neutral object. It has no feelings. It's just a product. I can pick on it. It won't care. Okay. Oh. It's a mugs game. Hey, I did pick up a little melon just now. So maybe that is the Kentucky Gold. But you see, I'm using all these terms, maybe, perhaps, could be, and I'm not sure. I'm saying now. So what am I saying? Well, it's a little more difficult than I thought. I had first believed. I thought it would just be a snap. I just run through it, make a few little snarky jokes, get some cheap laughs, this old junky whiskey, although I buy it, right? And then move on. But yet, that's not happening. Your counterpoint might be, yeah, because it's a lot more complicated to make these things than you think. You can just make fun of it. You're sitting at your house. You don't do anything. You don't produce any whiskey. You're not a distiller. They have to do a lot of work to make this stuff consistent. And what do? You buy it. You talk about it. Well, this is true. And I bet if you bought Kentucky Gold anywhere in America, it would taste the same. But it would still have that strange melon undertaste, which I don't think is proper. But it always has that honeydew melon thing. I'm not picking that up so much right now. This one on the right could be your left. This one does, however, have a little more rye spice now. It's not Club 400 from Sazerac. Oh, I'm sorry. It is Sazerac, but Majestic Distilling. I got to try some more Majestic Distilling blended whiskey because they have a really relative to the other ones I tried. But then again, I don't think I've ever seen a Majestic Distilling product in this state. I bought that in Huntsville, Alabama, or right close to Huntsville. And it was a total ripoff with Alabama's insane maniac, sicko, deranged liquor taxes. You pay more on tax than you do the liquor. You might say, what about cigarettes? 90% of cigarettes is tax. Do you support that? No, I never did say I supported that. I don't support that. Okay. I don't think it should be taxed like that. You say, what about the schools? What about the churn? Yeah, well, what about the waste? You say, I went to a public school and they had a teacher's. Where did they get the money to buy catered food? From you. You paid for that food. You say, no, I pay my taxes so they can help children read, be better citizens. Wrong. You're paying so they can eat catered sandwiches and chicken fingers and all kind of delicious vegetables and dip. And you wouldn't believe all the desserts. You want to see a lot of fat people? Hey, but look, you know, you say, what do you know about it? I don't know. What do I know about it? I taught public school for 22 and a half years. I got eyes. Like Tony Montana said, I got eyes. I see things. All right. This has got to be the Kentucky Gold. It's got to be, because it's starting to present. You see, if you think on them and run your mouth about various extraneous things, but it does allow it to breathe and it'll start to present. See, these things will they'll work already if you go quick with them. Like if you took a shot. Don't a lot of people do that with whiskey? Yes, they take shots. Okay, and then they may put it in the Coke and the orange juice and all that. All right. So if you drink this and you just taking shots, it'll be all right, I think. Now there might be a residual effect, and you start getting that. But then again, if you take shots with Jack Daniels, the backwash of that is going to be what? Corn grits, polenta. And you say, woof, that's kind of harsh too. You're right. So, well, you want backwash honeydew melon or you want backwash polenta yellow corn grits? I don't know. I don't know if either one is that enjoyable. If you want to be techno, as Larry Holmes said in 1985. All right. So I'm not taking shots though. I'm actually tasting it. It's a taste challenge and it's starting to present that underbody, which to me is not that great, you know? Yeah. Oh, man. I guess this has a rye back. I think the Triple Crown's all right. If I was looking to buy an American blended whiskey, and honestly, I would not be looking to do that. I used to be because I didn't know any better. Now I do. See, once you get used to stuff and you learn, then sometimes you wish you wouldn't have learned. But If I was looking to do that, Triple Crown would probably be on my to-buy list. I guess it's worth it. It ain't worth no $24. It's not worth $23 a bottle because it's a fancy bottle. It is a pretty bottle. I'll admit that. It's a pretty label. You can even get it in a plastic bag. But, I mean, literally, you can get it in a plastic bag, like a juice. But it is a little better. Gabe says, hi, I'm here. Hey, Gabe. Hey, Gabe. From Arizona. Folks, we have Gabe from Arizona. Now, they don't have Kentucky Gold in Arizona. They have Arizona Gold. No, I don't know what they've got. All right. So let's call it. Let's call it. If only, if only, if only. Listen, babe. All right, here we go. Here we go. Triple Crown. Please be Triple Crown. I beg you to be Triple Crown. Hey. Adios, pelota. Hey, you can kiss that baby goodbye because this says TC, and I know that stands for Triple Crown. Did you ever doubt my expertise? Why would you ever doubt that? You say, because about 60% of the time you get it right and about 40% of the time you get it wrong, and that's not that great of an average. Oh, well, you know, let's not bring up those unfavorable and uncomfortable technical details, okay? And furthermore, you know, this is not an easy job. You say a job. Okay, now it's a job. This is not an easy exercise. First of all, it's 5. I started around 5:30. Today was 5:43, I guess. All right. I got to drink just because I don't want to waste. I don't want to waste. I got to drink these 2 whiskeys early here in the morning at daybreak. You know, it's not easy. It's a chore. And then I got to talk about it. I got to let it breathe. You know, you can't just be gulping them down like some animal. So, you know, it's going to take about 20 minutes minimum. So I got to let them breathe. So then I got to talk about all these other things, movies and some obscure song lyrics and politics and symbolism and all this, and metaphysics and esoteric extrapolations of engrams, and I got to read your engrams. You know what I'm saying? So then it gets complicated. It's not so easy. It's not so easy. So then 2 days later, I got to all the consumption, all the consumption, all the consumption, all for you. Now, hey, well, I don't know. I could be doing any reviews. I mean, if I wanted to do, I could do tofu reviews, you know, say, well, this is tofu and then this other tofu, but that's not my bag. It's not my bag. So watching this, I would say, extraordinary review, taste challenge, really, I think you'll admit that. Now, and then in 2 days, could be fit. We might be fitting a rum thing in here, but I might just use Wednesday's slot to kind of consume a little bit of that Taka 100. I'd love to be extinguishing that Taka. Not that I hate it or resent it. It's just that I want to get rid of it so I can open up the world of rum more with the taste challenges there. And then I got that Pie Hole Cherry. I know I'm going to be looking at that for 8 months. Every time I look at it, I'm going to feel worse than the time before. But then one day it'll be gone. Every time I describe it to people, they make a terrible face. I say, I got this Pie Hole Cherry whiskey. And they say, what is it? And I tell them it's like Robitussin. They say, ooh. I say, well, you know, Robitussin's not bad if you got a bad cough, I guess. Have you seen Modelo 32-ounce bottle? Yes. See, Gabrielle. I have seen it. And I almost bought it. But then I saw that ridiculous price. And I said, no, I ain't buying it. It's too expensive. Now, we've been getting the quart bottles of Sol, Carta Blanca, and Tecate for many, and the Corona Familiar, for many years, at least 10 years. 10 years. And now the Modelo Especial is showing up in quarts. You know, it's pretty and all, but it's not really worth the price. All right. So get ready in 2 days. Kentucky Gold, Kentucky Triple Crown, Triple Crown versus Heaven Hill Kentucky whiskey. Heaven Hill. It'll be the same result. I'll blab a little bit now, but the Triple Crown is going to shine through, and that melon, that Heaven Hill melon deficit, you know, it is a deficit. It's a disadvantage. It's like in that movie Manhunter, you had disadvantages. And he said, what disadvantages, Will? He said, you're insane. So I think the Heaven Hill blendeds have disadvantages there. And that the key one is that undertaste starts to filter through, and that's the melon. You try it yourself. You'll see that honeydew melon. Remember, I put that in your mind, that little tag in your mind. All right. Thanks for watching this video production. And in about 2 hours, I plan to do a video review of a beer from Abita. Thank you very much.